Hey, clever schools and districts. This is Peter Cooperman talking to you. I'm the CEO of Hatch Coding and Hatch.art. This is an overview of Hatch Coding and our software studio by Hatch Coding. This is our main website, Code, Create, and Earn for ages 8 to 18. We were established in 2014, and we've delivered instruction to over 50,000 students and 40 schools, 40 school districts and 400 schools. So you can take a look at our website, and now we can talk a little bit about me. So I became a software engineer at age 12. I was super nerdy. I loved Dungeons and Dragons, and I hated rolling dice. So I had a problem that I needed to solve, and I solved it through software. I figured out how to create my own dice rolling game so that I could dice rolling program so I could roll my own D&D characters. And this aha came to me, which is you can use software to build anything you want. And so when in 2014 I wanted to start building Hatch Coding, I wanted to deliver this idea that computer science is the magic of building something useful to all students. And so what we have at Hatch Coding is we have a full collection, K to 12 curriculum aligned set of textbooks and projects. So those are the teacher's guide and curriculum companions. What we see inside the software itself is we have just tons and tons of resources. We have over 400 resources, and this is the state of Florida, but we also align to whichever state that you're in. And you can search by name, you can search by tag, you can search by location. Your teacher dashboard, if you will, is over here. There's grade mode, which we'll go over, teacher resources, project solutions, and then all your classes would be over here. So the first thing that we're going to take a look at is your student dashboard. And over here you see the student name. You can take a look at their dashboard by clicking over here, student dashboards. You can change their password over here. You see what level they are. We have 4 certificates from your first day of code to your first job in tech. So writer, author, intern, and junior developer. You can mark skills for the core competencies and superpowers, which we'll talk later. You can actually take a look at view projects here, where you can go into a student's projects in depth. And this is actually worth taking a look at. And then you see how many projects that they've started, they've finished, and are approved. If we take a look at a student's projects, we can actually see project by project which projects they've done, what level they've done it at, when they finished that, how many points. You can take a look at a student's learning over time, and you see if any concept that we're teaching, have they just gotten it once, or do they really truly understand it in an internalized fashion? So that is the view projects view. This is our solutions bank. So for any of our thousands of projects and challenges, what you can do is you can click into these. So let's say we're building a basic house, and we want to take a look at the JavaScript version. We can actually take a look at the example to see what it looks like. We can take a look at a solution to the base project, the learning goals for the solution, and for all the challenges, we can see what changes you need to make to the project to complete the challenges, and also learning goals you'll get with every challenge. So as we get into the platform itself, you will see that we have teacher resources across the board to really help you use the platform in a very effective way. In terms of teacher resources, we have teacher guides and information. We have computer science and linked activities. We can search by file name, and these project solutions that we've taken a look at before. One of the really neat things about Hatch is our ability to grade student work. We don't believe that in computer science there are right and wrong answers, so 100% of our content looks more like writing an English essay or paper than it does answering a math question. But when that happens, you get this scenario where, like, okay, well, how do you grade work efficiently and effectively? And the way we do this is this fast grading system called grade project. So over here, a student is asking for help, and the student is asking over here. We can also go to a challenge, and what we can do here when we take a look at a challenge, here's the base solution. The description of the challenges have the second ball appear separately from the first ball, and so we can see that they've delivered on this challenge. And then from there, we can decide it's marked unfinished, we can give them feedback, or we can just approve it. And as soon as we approve it, and this is live, so I don't necessarily want to approve this, it'll immediately go on to 4 out of 28, and you can like flip through projects as easy as you can, please excuse me, but as easy as you can swipe left or swipe right. It goes super fast. And we also have, for every project, we actually have prepared feedback. So you can take a look at here. We can take a look at all the feedback, the completion feedback, the extension feedback, and some general feedback. So as you get used to the platform, you can take a look at this, your grading becomes not only very fast, but you also get to give very specific, customized feedback for every kid, which is really wonderful. Now, how do we actually grade? Well, the first part of grading is we take a look at the base solution and the student result, and we can say, well, are they different? So that's a very easy visual cue for a beginning computer science teacher. As we get into it, we can actually see the solution code in JavaScript and the student code in JavaScript, and we can see where the differences are. And we can see if we can go line by line. So as we get into it, we can take a look at it. We can also see what difficulty the project was done at, and I'll in a moment I'll explain to you what project difficulty is. But there's a lot of really great tools in the grade mode to allow you to grade creative solutions very fast, and that way you can treat computer science as a language, and the way you teach a language is by offering creative exercises like write a 1-paragraph summary of your summer vacation, or a 5-paragraph explanation of World War II and Russia's involvement on the Eastern Front. One of the big victories that we've had since 2014 is we have a 5-year contract with Miami-Dade for all their middle school computer science students. We're very, very proud of this. It was actually an interesting story. I had to go in and I had a 1-hour presentation to 4 anonymous educators. I could not know their name. I just had to present. And after that 1 hour, they took the content and the curriculum and they went into self-described a cone of silence for 4 or 5 months, and they came back and they decided to choose Hatch Coding, which was really wonderful because we were up against some very, very big companies like Cengage and Pearson, and the Miami-Dade middle school computer science teachers chose us on the strength of our pedagogy and the way we deliver great results to students. So what exactly do we teach in terms of core competencies? So we teach 5 core competencies. We believe that learning computer science, and this is our student dashboard, by the way, we believe that learning computer science is about 5 separate skills that you have to get really good at. The first one is turning ideas into code, or taking an idea and bringing it to life through code. So if I give you something in English, can you take that and turn it into code? The second one is finding your own answers, programmatic research, conducting independent research to solve coding problems. And the way to think about this is when you learn the social sciences, they teach you how to write footnotes and endnotes, primary sources, secondary sources. In coding, you don't keep everything in your head. You get really good at looking stuff up. So we start with the Hatch reference manual, which I'll show you in a bit. And then we progress all the way through Stack Overflow, which is this very comprehensive website. It's one of the top 50 visited websites in the world. And engineers around the world, software engineers around the world, use Stack Overflow to answer their questions. And at first, it's very inaccessible because there's just a lot of text and it's very complicated to search. But we will take students from a very gentle introduction to finding your own answers all the way to the pro level of being able to use Stack Overflow. The third one is breaking down complex problems, or computational thinking, learning how code is best organized and structured. So that's algorithms, abstraction, patterns, decomposition, and design. So how do you take code and really make it work in terms of organizational structure? The fourth one, which is what almost every offering in computer science does, but this is only 1 out of 5 things we do, is speaking to a computer. So computational logic, which is learning programming vocabulary and grammar to give a computer clear instructions. So loops, conditionals, arrays, objects, loops, nested for loops, all this stuff is tracked to have you go from beginner to expert in speaking to a computer. And the last one, which is really, really important, is communication and collaboration. Because as you get into the real world, almost all software is built in teams. And so we believe that in order to be a well-rounded software engineer or computer programmer, you need to be able to communicate and collaborate well. And so this is learning how to code collaboratively with team members. It's writing clean code, it's writing readable code, it's being able to read other people's code, it's doing code reviews and offering helpful suggestions to other people on how they can get good with their code. And now we get to the actual content of Hatch Coding, which is really the best and most fun thing we have. We have thousands and thousands of projects, and they're all organized by topic. Because as I mentioned, I was 12 years old. I was really into Dungeons and Dragons, and that's how I found my entry into code. So if you're really into corporate logos, you can create corporate logos. If you're really into Pokemon, you can do Pokemon. There's pie chart, data visualization, Dumbo, Raptors logo if you like basketball, basic sorting, football players. We have over 375 themes, and all of them have projects, and every single project allow you to learn code. So if we just take a random project, I'm going to pick .art because it looks kind of interesting. There's 3 levels of difficulty. The first one is English description. So we give you the English, you have to code it. If you don't know how to do that, you can actually break it down. And here you'll get basically paragraphs. And the first paragraph is declare a size of canvas. And the other paragraph is create dots to be continuously drawn on the canvas. If you can't do that, you can break it down again. And I'm an advanced student, so ask me if I want to break this stuff down. And then we can actually get it in pseudocode, which is 1 line of English to 1 line of text. And beyond that, we can break it down again and just get text here. So what we end up doing is we end up typing the text. And because I'm a teacher, I can copy it. But if I wasn't a teacher, I'd actually have to type it all in. So I can break it down. I can get the code here. I type it in. And when I'm done with it, what we'll see is the canvas all of a sudden starts to fill with these dots, which is what this program does. And now that we've actually done a project, this is the Hatch version of this project, we then actually have to take on a challenges. So the first challenge is use a different shape. So replace the ellipses with a different shape. So what I could do for that, super simple, is I go from ellipse to rect. And then we can see that instead of having circles, they have rectangles, and I have completed this challenge. Now, how could I figure out to use rectangles instead of ellipse if I didn't know? Well, I can click the coding handbook, and this will open up our reference manual in separate pages. And we can see over here, there's, if we scroll down a little bit, we'll see that there's ellipse, rect, triangle, quad, and we can say, okay, well, I was using ellipse, now I'm going to use rectangles, and that's how I'm going to solve my challenge. It's the first step of solving problems independently. So that's a summary of the platform. The next thing I want to talk to you about is yet another project. On here, you can actually see examples of what the code is supposed to look like at the end. You can ask teacher for feedback or read your feedback. You can get help by asking teacher from feedback. Coda will approve superpowers as we go through. You can also take a look at notes. So you can write notes to yourself, basically, organizational notes or a scratch pad for anything you want. And so we have a really awesome platform where you can create lots of really interesting work in coding, including visual programming. And where this is all headed, which is really interesting, this is something we launched a week ago, just a landing page. It'll be open in mid-December, is basically a gallery where students can show off their most interesting creative work. And if it's good enough, perhaps they can actually sell this work as digital art. And so we have this idea of creative digital art imagined by artists 9 to 17 years old. And we have 4 collections that might be released here. We have a big roadmap, which is super exciting, offering prize money every single week, which we're already doing. We're offering $400 a week in prize money. Where if you have a really great digital art project, you can submit it to us. We'll evaluate it against other students, and the top 3 every week get prize money. So that's a summary of Hatch Coding and Hatch.art. Thank you so much for visiting and spending time. Thanks. Bye.